We got Kevin Holland back here on the program, who's coming off a win over Gerald Meerschaert last weekend at UFC Philly, but we got some really cool news to talk about. But first off, Kevin, how are you, man?
Man, I'm not bad. How about yourself? You feeling good?
I'm feeling great. I know you got some breakfast this morning. What did you get?
Man, I got these little swirl things, bro. I never eat these things. I don't even know what they are. It looks good right now. I was hungry. Needed something to snack. Got me a body armor. About to go do a little workout, so gotta put something in there right quick.
Yeah, and I appreciate the time, man. First things first, though, we just found out late last night, early this morning, that Yoel Romero is out of his fight with Jacare Souza, and I know you stepped up and offered your services. What's the latest on that with Jacare and you potentially fighting him?
You know what, man? I don't even know if I'm even eligible to be in the picture. You know what I'm saying? But I fought Thiago last second. You know what I mean? Wasn't even in the UFC yet. I'm down, you know what I mean? I'm down to save the card. You know what I mean? Every man deserves to get paid. I understand that Yo's out. He's going through something. I'm not exactly sure what it is. That's his business. But I understand Jacare still needs to get paid. I'm always down for the check. So, why not step up? You know what I mean? We ain't scared of no man. So, let's do it.
Yeah, and just on that note, it looks like there's some headway because I saw Ariel Helwani tweet something. He's part of ESPN. There's probably a little bit of traction. The other name we heard is Paulo Costa, but Ariel and a bunch of the other media members have shot that down as well. So I think things are looking pretty good for you right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I would hope it looks pretty good. I think wasn't Paulo Costa supposed to fight Yoel Romero originally?
Well, that's just it. That's why this news is so confusing because initially, yeah. So I don't know what's happening there. So
and then of course the biggest star in 185, probably even in MMA right now, Israel, besides Conor, he's busy with Kevin Gastelum, which would be a good rematch for them to have. But, of course, he's busy. The champ Whitaker, champs don't take last-second fights, so there's no reason to even think about that. Plus, he's just getting recovered. The list goes on and on of guys who's busy. You got Luke Rockhold as a fight book, and he's going up to 205. You got Anderson Silva. I don't know if he wants to fight another fellow Brazilian. And
Anderson's got to fight, though. He's fighting Jared Cannonier.
Exactly. And Jared Cannonier's fighting Silva. Everybody's booked. The only person that I think it makes sense besides, me, who's ready to run around and do whatever, is maybe Weinman. But I don't know what's going on with Weinman right now. I doubt Weinman takes that fight last second. I don't think he wants to take that chance. And he just knocked out Wyman. So why would Wyman do that, right? Then you have, I had it at the top of my head. It's a lot of guys. You got the guy who just won on the same card as I was that just beat Branch. Branch got choked out pretty quick, so maybe David Branch just wants to go revenge himself. But why would Branch take that fight? If he just got submitted, why would you go fight a guy who's two-time world-class IBJJF champ and also who can he got some decent hands, you know what I mean? Jacare can fight, so why would Branch want to go do that? The guy that just beat Branch, he might want to go do that, but maybe he wants to ride his wave and take a more smarter fight with a, less of a chance. But come on, I used to live in Vegas before. I'm a gambler. I'll take the chance. I like it.
Yeah, and how do you feel like you would match up against him? Jacare, we know his credentials on the ground. He's also got some stand-up as well.
I'm going to smack him from a mile away. I promise you one thing. One thing you know about me is I'm going to open my hand up and I'm going to smack you at least 1 to 2, 3, maybe 15 times. I'm going to smack you. And I'm going to fight. Look, man, everybody looks to hump these days, but you know me. I'm going to fight. So it's like if he wants to hump, I'm going to try and get up out of there. More likely I get up out of there. And I'm gonna throw some punches, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you every place I can, whenever I can. I'm a scrap. That's what I do. I scrap.
Let's back things up a little bit and talk about your last fight against Gerald Meerschaert. I know you weren't happy with the fight, and I know you mentioned post-fight, that he was holding on to you. One of the things I wanted to ask you, if you knew he was going to do that heading into the fight, is there anything you can do about that, or is that something you just have to, endure?
You know what? There is something you can do about that. Like Cruz said, work on the wrestling defense. I don't think I have horrible wrestling defense, but, I believe that one man's takedown is the start of my jiu-jitsu. So I believe I can grapple with anybody in the world. So if you take me down, I just believe in scrambling and getting back up. I'm orthodox like that. I like my jiu-jitsu. It's not always the best way to go. So if I want to keep it standing, maybe I got to stop going in there with the mindset, your takedown is the start of my jiu-jitsu, because before I got in the UFC, usually when you shot, that means you were tapped out, unless it was the Lovato Jr. fight, of course, you know, and there's a few guys that got away, but more likely they don't get away. They either get knocked out or tapped out. So it was like, you know, I've had that mindset for a long time. Now, if I just go ahead and flip the switch, say, you know, I don't really want to grapple, then maybe I don't get taken down. But the thing about me is I like to beat people at their own game. So, like, if you take me down a couple of times, of course I'm going to get my takedown back. You know what I mean? And it's something that I do during the fight, but I got to reprogram that. And I'm young. I can reprogram things real fast like that.
When it went to the scorecards, were you pretty confident you had the decision?
No, not at all. I never win decisions. You know what I mean? I had that fight against Curtis Melander. You know, hats off to him. He won that fight. I had a fight against a Russian guy, very tough Russian guy. I can't remember his name. It's hard for me to pronounce. He won that, you know. So it's like when it goes to decision, these guys tend to seem like they get the decision over me. Maybe my style isn't the best for points. But I went back and watched the video on the phone with my manager while eating a cheesesteak that night. And I gave it to myself after watching the fight, you know, from a fan's perspective, from a judge's perspective. I mean, he was doing a lot more laying and he looked for some submissions, but every submission he looked for, I looked for one as well. You see what I'm saying? And then when he was doing a lot more laying, trying to look for a more better position, I was scrambling, getting back up, or scrambling, getting on top. And then when I got on top, I was pounding. You know what I mean? When he had me pressed up against the cage, he was kind of just holding me there, trying to slow the fight down. And I was doing what the smack man does. I was smacking them all up against the ear, you know, just nudging them away. I come from a kung fu base. I believe that, you know, enough open hand smacks, it can put you away. So I do what I feel is needed when I'm in those spots. I keep working. You know, they want to lay on top of me. I want to keep working.
Did you talk to the UFC after the fight?
No, I don't do much talking to people after fights. I do my interviews and then I get up and go. I don't stay in the green room and eat food like most people. I usually have my wife there or some type of family or somebody around. I like to get back to the room as fast as possible, unless I'm overseas somewhere and I don't know anybody. So then I'll stay. But yeah, I try and get back to the room fast as possible.
And I know a big thing after the fight is recovery. I know you've been rocking the Terphouse stuff. What are you using right now for recovery?
Same thing every time, man. CBD, you know, Terphouse. You know, that's how I roll. I really believe I'm a big fan of CBD. You know, I'm a guy from California, so you know the past is the past. But you know, I'm a CBD fan. You know, I believe CBD is relaxation. You know, and it's ultimately when you're in this game, that's what you need. You need to be able to relax outside of, you know, doing what we do and let your body just, you know, re-heal itself, really. And CBD is a natural healing. You know, I like natural.
Because of this news that I mentioned off the top, I guess you're right back into training right now, just in case you do get that call.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do some, you know, strength conditioning today. Nothing crazy. You know, you should know when news like that breaks, if they're gonna want to do it, you should know within the next, you know, 48 hours. So I won't go out and do nothing crazy. I'm already in shape from the last fight. You know what I mean? Of course, it's a 5-round fight on the next one. But like I said before, I'm young. You know what I mean? Up the cardio, up the training a little bit. As soon as they give me the word, I'll be good to go, man. I'm always doing last-second fights. If I get this one on 3 weeks, that'll be a week longer than what I got the last one on, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So I'm used to it, bro. That's what I like.
Last question before I let you go. You mentioned me off air. You might be moving. When's that going to happen? And I heard you might be going to Vegas.
Whenever my wife decides.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm married now, right? So whenever my wife wants to do something, I just get up and do it. So if she decides we're moving next week, then we move next week. I think I'm flying her out this weekend to go look at some houses. So yeah, maybe by the 1st.
Okay. And have you figured out training? Because there's a couple gyms out there, obviously Syndicate and Extreme.
No. So tell you what, my man, just everybody send me a list of what gyms they think is good gyms. And that's what I'll go off of. I'll just go out there, check a few different gyms out, talk with some coaches, see where would be the best ones, see which ones don't have a problem with me still being Travis Luter all the way, because that's what I am. I'm a Luter guy. So, you know, right there, I like to stay along that path. Somebody who doesn't mind me, you know, respectfully keeping my jiu-jitsu with Travis. Of course, I'm going to train jiu-jitsu while I'm out there, but you know what I mean.
Kevin, always appreciate the time, man. I know you got to get to training. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
Look, man, guys, if you guys want to follow me on Trailblaze 2 Top. All right, Trailblaze 2 Top. That's on Instagram, and that's on Twitter. If you don't follow my Twitter account, it's okay, because my manager runs that. Follow me on Instagram, baby. And then the only other shout I got to say is EA Sports. Put me in the game, baby. Put me in the game.